The little girl's hand trembled as she held out a single crumpled dollar bill. "Please," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. "I want to buy him." The old man behind the shelter desk frowned, glancing at the injured German shepherd lying in the corner, ribs showing, one leg bandaged, eyes filled with quiet pain. No one wanted the dog. He was considered too broken, too aggressive. But to the girl he was perfect. When the man sighed and said, "Fine, $1, she smiled through her tears. She didn't know it yet, but that wounded dog would soon risk everything to protect her and reveal a secret that would leave her entire town speechless. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The small bell above the shelter door jingled as little Lily stepped inside, her tiny boots squeaking against the cold floor. The air smelled faintly of disinfectant and sadness, a scent that came from too many cages and too few homes. Rows of dogs barked and whimpered, each one begging for attention. But Lily's eyes stopped on one cage at the end of the hallway. Inside, lying silently on a torn blanket, was a German shepherd, ribs visible, one paw wrapped in a dirty bandage, his eyes dull yet filled with quiet pain. The shelter manager noticed her stare. "That one's been through a lot," he said softly. "We found him by the forest road. Hit by a car, maybe. No collar, no owner." Lily knelt down, her breath fogging the metal bars. The dog slowly lifted his head, meeting her gaze. For a moment, time froze. She felt something like he was calling out to her, without words. The next morning, she ran home, smashed open her piggy bank, and counted $1. It wasn't much, but it was everything she had. Clutching it tightly, she returned to the shelter. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I want to buy him." Lily named him Shadow because from the very first moment he stepped into their home, he refused to leave her side. He followed her everywhere, to the porch, when she played with her dolls, to the kitchen when she sneaked cookies, even curling up beside her bed at night. Though his leg was still wrapped in bandages, his eyes had regained a spark, a quiet gratitude that only Lily could see. Her father, Tom, watched the strange bond unfold from a distance. He had doubted the decision at first. The dog looked broken both in body and spirit. But every day under Lily's gentle care, Shadow began to heal. The once nervous shepherd now wagged his tail when she laughed and barked softly when she called his name. Days passed peacefully until little things began to disturb their calm. The barn door sometimes stood open in the morning, though Tom swore he'd locked it. Tools shifted places, and once the old swing creaked in the night when no wind blew. Shadow's behavior changed, too. He would stare toward the dark woods behind their farmhouse, growling under his breath. Tom brushed it off, calling it dog instinct, but Lily wasn't so sure. She felt it. Something out there was watching them. That night, Lily awoke to the sound of growling. Shadow stood at her bedroom door, his ears perked, muscles tense. Outside, the wind howled through the trees, but this was different. Sharp, deliberate like footsteps crunching over dry leaves. Tom, half asleep, grabbed his flashlight and stepped out onto the porch. Probably a raccoon, he muttered, scanning the yard. But when the beam of light hit the ground near the barn, his stomach tightened. Footprints. Fresh ones. The next morning, Tom found cigarette butts near the fence line and tire marks leading into the forest trail. Someone had been there watching. He called the police, who warned that a fugitive had recently escaped custody and might be hiding in nearby woods. Fear rippled through their small town, but Tom tried to stay calm for Lily's sake. That evening, rain began to fall. Lily sat drawing by the window while Shadow lay by her feet. Suddenly the dog leapt up, barking violently at the glass. A hand, gloved, shaking, tried to force the window open. Lily screamed as Tom burst in. Shadow lunged, teeth flashing, his growl echoing through the storm. The intruder panicked, fleeing into the darkness, but Shadow's jaws caught his sleeve, ripping away a piece of fabric. When the police arrived, Tom held it up, drenched in rain. Shadow stood beside him, still growling. His instincts had been right all along. The following morning, sunlight spilled weakly through the rain-streaked windows. As an officer collected the torn fabric, Shadow paced restlessly, nose twitching, eyes fixed on the forest. Something about that scent had unsettled him. Lily knelt beside him, running her small fingers through his fur. "It's okay, boy," she whispered, but he didn't relax. His gaze stayed locked on the tree, and as if he knew the danger wasn't over. Later that day, while changing his collar, Lily noticed something strange. A faded metal tag tucked beneath the worn leather. She tugged gently, revealing the engraved letters. K9 Unit 47. Her father froze when she showed him. That wasn't a pet tag. It was military issue. Tom immediately contacted local authorities, and within hours they confirmed it. Shadow wasn't an ordinary dog. He was a trained police K9, officially listed as missing in action after a raid on a smuggling camp months ago. The realization hit them hard. The fugitive on the run wasn't a stranger to Shadow. He was the very criminal who had shot at his unit and left him for dead. All those nights of growling, the restless pacing, the stares into the woods, it all made sense. Now, Shadow hadn't been haunted by fear. He had been waiting, guarding Lily from the man who once tried to kill him. The night crept in thick and silent. Clouds swallowed the moon, leaving the farmhouse bathed in uneasy darkness. Tom CH checked every lock, his flashlight trembling slightly in his hand. Lily had already fallen asleep, curled up beside Shadow, who refused to close his eyes. His ears flicked at every creak, every rustle of wind. Something was coming. He could feel it. Then, without warning, a loud crack shattered the quiet. Gunfire. Tom ducked instinctively as glass splintered across the kitchen floor. "Lily," he shouted, sprinting to her room. Shadow was already there, standing between her bed and the door, his teeth bared in a deep, rumbling growl. Outside, footsteps crunched closer through the mud. The fugitive had returned. Tom grabbed his phone, calling the police, but before he could finish, The door burst open. Masked man lunged forward, gun in hand. Shadow launched like a bullet, knocking him to the ground. A deafening shot rang out and then silence. By the time the police arrived, the man lay pinned beneath fallen beams from the barn. Blood on his arm where Shadow had bitten him. Officers surrounded the area, flashing lights cutting through the rain. Tom's heart froze when he saw Shadow lying motionless nearby, his fur matted with blood. Lily dropped to her knees, cradling his head, whispering through tears, "Please don't leave me. Please." The hero she'd bought for a single dollar had just saved her life. The next few days passed in a blur of worry and silence. The small town held its breath as Shadow fought for his life. At the veterinary hospital, Lily refused to leave aside. She sat beside his bed, clutching the same crumpled dollar she had used to buy him, whispering softly, "You have to wake up, Shadow. You promised you'd never leave me." Outside, police officers and reporters gathered. News spread quickly. Little girl's $1 rescue saves town from armed fugitive. Even the officer who once trained Shadow arrived, eyes glassy with pride. "He was the best partner I ever had," he said quietly, kneeling beside the bed. "And now he's found a new one." Then one afternoon, Shadow's tail twitched. His eyes fluttered open. Lily gasped, tears spilling down her cheeks, as she threw her arms around him. The hospital filled with applause and tears of relief. Later, Tom admitted to the shelter staff that they'd never taken her dollar. They just wanted her to feel proud. But to Lily that single dollar had changed everything. As she walked home, Shadow limping gently beside her, she looked up at the setting sun and whispered, "You're my miracle." And this time, Shadow barked softly as if he understood every